Hello, everyone, and welcome to the North versus South FPL podcast featuring myself, Heath, and my co-host, State. How's it going, buddy?
Really good, excited. Premier League getting close, it's getting tense, lots going on, and yeah, really excited, pal. And I'd like to just put something out there. I would like to be called KDB instead of State for this episode, please. So instead of referring to me as State, can you say KDB? That would be fantastic.
Okay, well, yeah, we can do Scooby. We can do whatever you want to do, mate.
Or you could say Kevin De Bruyne. You can say Kevin De Bruyne. You can call me that as well. You can put it in a bit of an Italian accent.
Yeah. But how would you say it in a Belgian accent?
I'd probably just speak French, to be fair. So, you're Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, something like that.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Well, obviously, as you guys can tell, we've got a one man who's going to be talked about quite a lot this podcast, and that is probably Kevin De Bruyne. But I think before we get to him, we need to tell you guys what's on the agenda this week. So this week we've got our game week review, we've got our Michael Keane shit list, we've got our North versus South mini league and cup updates, we've got our podcast review featuring FPL family, and game week preview. For anyone who's just tuned in to the North versus South FPL podcast, where have you been? It's game week 36. Come on.
They've been nowhere. They've obviously been lost in life. They've been in the Bermuda Triangle, like Uncle Fester was. What's happening?
I honestly, I think that you really need to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why did it take me this long? Anyway, you're here now. Welcome. Get involved. So if it is your first time, we'll explain to you the format. So State can only pick players from the northern region. And when you say, what is the northern region? Well, it's anyone from Norwich and above. And I can only pick southern players. So this is going to be players from anyone from Aston Villa and below. So if you're not too clued up on your Midlands geography, Leicester City and Wolves, they feed into the north section. And then, well, actually, the only Midlands club we've got down here in the south is Aston Villa, and that's just about. So that's who we can pick. We'll start off with our game week review. Ultimately, it was a game week of real highs and lows, and I think it could be a tale of two halves. Maybe at one point, it was in the bag, and then it came. It was in the bag. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Your version of in the bag is different to most people's. If that's what you thought, come on.
Basically, it was in the bag, and then there was a couple of late goals. It was out of the bag. The bag has just been burnt last night, and there is no bag left anymore for it to be in or out of. And at the moment, I'm hoping that someone's going to put the bag back together again.
I'll tell you what, guys, you're gonna when we get to this point, we'll talk about what in the bag really means across the country. And there's everyone's version, and then there's Heath's version of in the bag. All right, so we'll get into that. Sorry, you carry on, Heath. Yeah.
So, State, do you want to tell us about your game week review?
Yeah, I'll start my game week review. Heath, I captained Kevin De Bruyne this week.
That is all.
What are your thoughts? You think was that a good move? Good move for a FPL manager.
It was an incredibly good move, mate. And I'll give you credit where it's due, because I genuinely really did think you would go with Salah. I thought, I was hoping you'd go for Salah because he hasn't looked great. But to be fair to you, you went for the right choice and it's paid off. You're absolutely loaded with points right now. And everything's been turned upside down with that game yesterday.
I mean, I've got 143 points. It's not going to get any bigger than that because Arsenal playing Spurs right now. I can't pick any of those players. So I've got 143. I did make 3 transfers for this game week, so I did take a -8 point hit. So that does knock me down in our sort of head-to-head thing. But, 143 overall. Yes, Kevin De Bruyne is massive, but there's a lot of contributors. I did play my bench boost as well. So I got contributions, not all positive. I did have a minus contributor in my side. So we'll get on to him later soon. But yeah, Edison in goal, so he got 9 points from me. Shame they didn't get a clean sheet last night, but he got 7 against Newcastle, 2 against Wolves, so 9 points. Defense, I made some good moves in defense. So I brought in Joel Matip.
Oh, mate, it's on. It is on.
It's only one goal. Sun's just scored 3-0. So Spurs are 3-0 up, guys. Son Heung-min has just scored, and Heath does have him as his captain, and he needs Son to do a De Bruyne to get close. And so, yeah, it could be on with Arsenal down. It could be a bad day still. The bag might be made up back up. Who knows? Anyway, he's stealing my glory right now. So yeah, I made those three. My defensively wise, got Joel Matip, who's got 11 points overall. He didn't play against Spurs, which I was surprised by, but he played against Villa and he got a goal and he got 3 bonus points as well. So he got 11 points there, which was great. João Cancelo, 9 points against Newcastle. He got an assist and a clean sheet. Against Wolves, he got 1 assist, 5 points, so it made him 14. Van Dijk got 8 points across 2 games, just the 2 against Spurs, 6 against Villa because he got an assist and a bonus point. And then Nathan Collins just got the 1 point for Wolves, not massive there. Midfield, Big Mo with 3 points. He obviously didn't start against Villa, came on for 18 minutes, and he did nothing against Spurs. But I'll tell you what, Spurs, I'm impressed with Spurs against Liverpool again. And I'll get onto this in my shit list about certain somebody, but Spurs just played it really well against him and stopped him, from doing the things that he loves to do. And if more sides did that, yes, Liverpool got another 10 players that can hurt you, but Spurs just really did a number on him there. But yeah, so he's only got 3 points. Anthony Gordon, 5 points with his 2 games. I was hoping he might have nicked an assist or something. I mean, really, he should have been doing something against Watford. God, every man and his dog scored against Watford this season. They haven't kept a clean sheet at home, I don't think, all season until yesterday. I mean, correct. What the balls is going on? I mean, there's some ridiculous, like Watford have conceded more goals at home than I think nearly every team in the entire football league this season, supposedly. And now, I don't know if that stat was fully accurate, but put it this way: if you don't score at Watford, then you shouldn't really be playing football, boys. So I was hoping Gordon would do that. Anyway, James Maddison, he got 8 points. Didn't play against Everton, but he got a goal against Norwich, obviously. And then Kevin De Bruyne, KDB. Oh, Kevin De Bruyne. Yes, he has been the man. Now, he only got 6 points against Newcastle and they scored 5 goals. He got an assist. He got 1 bonus point. I mean, he was awesome in that game. I think he probably, if they did pre-assists, I think he probably got 3 or 4 pre-assists that game. But they don't do that. But then he decided he'd go into the goal scoring Terminator mode against Wolves yesterday. He scored 4 goals. Yeah, not bad. I mean, my only disappointment was, why can't De Bruyne get assists for his own goals? That'd be nice as well. Can they not do that? Yeah, who knows? But 24 points. He got 4 goals. He got 3 bonus points, unsurprisingly. I mean, not normally when people score an hat-trick, yeah, they get 3 bonus points, but not only did he score 4 goals, but he was still by far, like, everything, the ball, everything he was the main man. So yeah, 60 points from him as captain, well done. Then up top, Jamie Vardy, he came to the party. I didn't think he'd start against Everton because of the Roma game, and he's obviously only just been coming back. But I thought Norwich at home, that is a Vardy machine. He's ready. He's going to go and destroy them. And he got 2 goals, 3 bonus points. So he got 14 across the 2 games. Timu Pukki just got 4 points. I mean, he had a chance to score actually against Leicester. So I think he hit the post with it. A shame. And then my bench boost. I mean, Michael McGovern doesn't play, so I didn't do anything with that. I didn't want to take another 4-point hit for a keeper when I didn't have much faith in any other keepers and I didn't have the money. Damari Gray has got me 5 points for Everton with his 2 games. Gelhardt for Leeds. Well, all I can be thankful for is he got 2 points. He didn't get sent off, I guess, if he plays for Leeds. That's the only good thing about him this weekend. I think that's the only good thing about any Leeds player who didn't get sent off. They've achieved something. Maybe that could be it. And then big Brandon Williams, good man, -1 points because he conceded 4 goals and got a yellow card against West Ham. Thankfully, he was dropped against Leicester. Otherwise, I could have been staring -2 or 3. And who knows if Song keeps doing some bits, then we could have a problem there. But played on the bench boost, 143 points. But obviously, the 3 transfers, you take 8 off, you do the maths, guys. But I'll tell you right now, it says 135.
Seeing Kevin De Bruyne's goals last night, I mean, he could have actually had 5. I think he hit the post at the end, but the guy is so good. What I don't get about footballers nowadays is that there used to be like with certain football players back in the day, you could see them playing well throughout the game, and you think, oh, such a good player, and then they would score their goals and get their assists, and they'll just be world class or whatever for players back in the day. But I swear nowadays, these players are almost like they're, I don't know, holding back their energy for for parts of the season when they really need it. You've seen it before with Kevin De Bruyne. He's a player who has a lot of determination and that angry determination when things haven't gone well for them. And you can see that recently, after they got knocked out of the Champions League, these guys, it's been absolutely no messing around at all. And do you know what? This happened to us in the cup final. If Man City had beaten Spurs and they'd gone to the Champions League final that year, there's no way they would have gone out there and beaten us 6-0. They would have beaten us 1 or 2-0, conserved their energy for the Champions League final. But this is what happens when they've got nothing else to play for and they're just going for one thing and one thing only at the league. They can win these games 4-5-0, no problem, against anyone. Probably, you'd say that they could probably beat anyone, barring Liverpool and maybe Chelsea, if Chelsea were on form. But you could see them beating Spurs. Well, maybe Spurs are an example with Conte at the moment. But anyway, they could beat anyone in the league comfortably if they really, really go for it. And I think the only reason why they haven't won this league already is because they've been trying to rotate the teams around and stuff. Yeah. Exactly. And the fact is that's gone now. Yeah. So Kevin De Bruyne is now just being...
He's going to play and he's going to control every game and dominate. Well, that's it, I'm looking at the stats. De Bruyne's, there's 13 games this season in the Premier League that De Bruyne hasn't started for City. That's your best player. And he hasn't started 13 games. You play 38 games in a season, right? So he's going to have missed a third of he's not going to have started in a third of those games. And then I think out of those 13, there's 8 of them which he didn't even play any minutes. So just less than a fifth of the games, he doesn't even play any minutes in. And that's by far Man City's best player. He's their man. He's the colossal. But the marquee signing, if you have a marquee player, Man City's marquee player is Kevin De Bruyne. So to not have your main player in any minutes or 8 games usually would be unthinkable. It wouldn't happen. But like you said, City have been trying to juggle things on a 4-way thing, and I think. But like you said, this last 5 or 6 game weeks, barring that, I don't think he played against Leeds, did it? But barring that, he's started in all the games, and he's been getting points. He's not been getting your standard 2s or 3s. He's been getting, a minimum of 6 points, maybe more. And yeah, like you said, he's just turning it on at the moment. And I think like I said, but if you watch Man City play, even in games where he maybe doesn't get a goal or an assist, he's still making everything happen, and he's still absolutely world class. He's for me, he's probably he's the best all-round footballer in the Premier League. Because it's not like he didn't work hard either. I'm not saying others don't work hard, but you see him getting back and doing things deeper. He can play that deeper role. He can play that further forward role. If you get him out wide, you're in trouble because he's going to put a ball in better than anybody else can do. Liverpool fans might say, no, Trent's better. No, Trent's delivery is great, but it's not Kevin De Bruyne level. Kevin De Bruyne's delivery is just world class, But yeah, the guy is fantastic. But like you said, these top players, they just, like you said, they can do that, and they have that ability to do that. So yeah, unbelievable. And thank God that KDB has come up trumps for me with a big 60-pointer. So go on, Kevin.
What are the chances of him signing for Chelsea or for Arsenal or for Spurs next season? Hey,
Only chance of that happening is when you're on Football Manager and you have enough money to buy him. Yeah, that's about it.
I need some kind of Saudi prince to come in and take over for a Southern team, don't I? Really?
I know I've got Haaland for next season as well. I've got a striker. Mm.
Well, on a positive note, at least I've got Kane then, by the sounds of it.
Yes, yeah, that's a good thing. How about your team then, Heath? You know, how are you looking at the moment? I know you're still in play, but
Yep.
how's it going?
Yep. It's going well. Realistically, if you ever get into three figures, you're basically enjoying yourself. I obviously am slightly disappointed just because you're doing better than I am, but overall, I can't complain. Emmy Martinez with 5 points. I made a couple of bench mistakes this week, and I'll openly put my hands up and say it. Realistically, it is what it is. But anyway, Martinez with 5. Aspilicueta unfortunately only played the one game, and he got this. Well, he got a 1 point in both games because got a yellow card in the first game and then only played 12 minutes in the second. So just 2 points for him. Reece James finally turned up. He's got himself an assist, clean sheet against Leeds, got 3 bonus. But I tell you what, if you watch that game, everything was going through Reece James. That guy is back without a doubt. I was thinking about whether to keep him or not, but I think he made my decision. The only thing that worries me a little bit is how the cup final plays out, but we'll see about that. And then Marcus Alonso, again, he got a clean sheet, 7 points. There was rumours that he'd fallen out with Tuchel after the last game, and that's why he got taken off early, or he got taken off early and then fell out of him, something like that. But it looks like, they're professionals, and he got himself another start and, got the point. So that was good stuff. Then Luka Din with 5 points. Obviously, it's always going to be tough playing against Liverpool, but he got an assist against Burnley. It looks like Saka's only going to probably get me 4 points, which is understandable considering what's happened at Spurs, where Spurs are running rampant at the moment, and they're absolutely they're smashing Arsenal, aren't they? Really, Arsenal down to 10 men. Holding got sent off, and it could be a cricket score by the looks of it. But yeah, Zaha made the right decision. I mean, as painful as it is, I think it's the second time Watford have played Crystal Palace, and it's the second time I brought in Wilfried Zaha, and it's the second time Wilfried Zaha's got me big points against Watford.
You always tell me this, that Zaha and Palace always beat Watford. So I had Palace in my on one of my bets this weekend. Obviously, I also did a Zaha to score, but I went both team. I did a little bet builder, and I went Palace to win, Zaha to score first. But I went both teams to score, and obviously that didn't happen, unfortunately, because I just thought, surely, Watford sometimes do capable of scoring a goal or so, but and Palace don't keep loads of clean sheets. But yeah, you always say Zaha does well. He holds against Watford, and Palace always beat us. So those are the two definites in life that you give me. So yeah.
It was pretty painful. The idea of this guy who we've completely hated for so many years scoring the winning goal to relegate us, and then our manager going over to celebrate with him after the game. I mean,
yes,
it doesn't get much worse than that, does it? Really?
That was
I guess if Roy had gone over to the away fans and just shushed them or something, or put his hands to his ears or something, Hogan style or something, I don't know. But that was pretty killer. But I brought him in for Ward Prowse. Now that was a good move. But yeah, Kulusevski at the moment is just on the 5 points. I mean, it doesn't look like he's really doing anything at the moment. Maybe he might prove me wrong, but he's just getting a clean sheet bonus from the Arsenal game at the moment. But that's about it. Emmanuel Dennis. Now, this is where I ballsed up big time. He got 2 points against Palace. And to be honest, I don't know really. I guess I was being ever the optimist, but I kind of had a feeling that he might turn up in one of these games. And he didn't even actually genuinely turn up in the second game. Apparently he's injured, but realistically, we all know, we've all seen this before, end of the season. Players, I mean, we had 5 or 6 players apparently injured from nowhere. Realistically, it just sounds like we've done with them and that they're done with us or something. But anyway, it is what it is. Harry Kane, obviously at the moment, it's on 12, and I completely missed my captain. I don't know how I missed him, but Heung-min Son at the moment, 36 points. I mean, any other week you'd be, waxing lyrical about this guy. He's got 2 goals. He's got a goal in the Liverpool game and a goal in the Arsenal game, and he's got an assist. He's due on for 2 bonus at the moment. Where I am wrong this week, and it may have made a slight difference, but only a slight difference, is I have Foster on the bench with 14 points. I think I would have been quite a brave man if I'd have gone with him over Martinez, to be honest. And then I had Bowen, who realistically got 3 assists against Norwich. Now that was the mistake. And to be honest, I did really think, I was thinking Bowen, he's got to start in my team, but I don't know. I thought, I don't know, again, the thing about it, I kind of thought Norwich would have something in their locker to kind of cause some kind of upset somewhere, or be,
that wasn't the worrying thing for me. I just think the worrying thing was that you thought that Dennis had something in his locker still.
Well, like I say, really he's emptied his locker, and he's on his way. So
he's at the beach. He's got the guns out. He's taking the guns out for a party. Yes,
big time. And I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. Son has been brought off. Game over. Kulusevski's off. Son's off. That's a game week. Oh yeah. Go on, my son. Yes, that is the best news ever. Son, I do love you, but thank God you're off that pitch now. Thank God, son. You enjoy a rest, pal. Enjoy a rest. Take your time.
Yeah. Okay, so realistically, I'm hoping for Keane and Saka to just go crazy with goals now, I guess. Otherwise, that's me done. But yeah, so Foster with 14 points, Bowen with 13 points, and then Ivan Toney 5, Walker Peters with 1. But overall, obviously, like I say, I'm happy with the week. Getting in 3 figures, I'm really, really happy. But yeah, I mean, actually thinking about it now, that Bowen decision, I mean, that is going to be really.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry. That'll get re-brought up in a minute. Don't you worry now.
Okay, but anyway, currently, like I say, I'm on 102 points. State is currently on 135 points. Obviously, 143 minus his 8. So he's going to take the game week unless something crazy happens, which I don't think there's enough time really for it to go crazy now. But it does mean, now this is what we were saying beginning of the pod. This means it's going to even it up, right? And State is going to go, I think you're going to go back to the top, because I think you've got more.
I'm going to be on 2,127 points overall.
Oh, it's going to be close, isn't it? It's going to be close.
You're going to be turning up as well. You're going to be.
No, I think you will be. I think you will be. I was only 3 points ahead of you. Yeah, so you will go ahead.
I'll be top by about 15 or 20 points, maybe something like that. It's going to be. It's tight. It's really tight. This is what we wanted, folks. We wanted this. We don't want to be going cruising to the title. We want to. It's more enjoyable beating somebody on that last day of the season. It's terrible for the person who loses, and don't get me wrong, if it's me, I won't be going on the last podcast at the end of the season. But if it's not, if I'm the winner, I'll be lauding it up. I'll be happy as Larry. That last game of the season, I'll be glued to it. My fantasy team will be up, and I'll just be. We might have to do something live, Heath. Who knows? It could be interesting.
Definitely, mate. And the thing about it is, what makes it very interesting is where we'll both be on 54 points head to head. State will be slightly ahead of me with his highest score, but I've got my triple captain left, and State doesn't have any chips to play. So that means that on paper, I should get at least win one of those game weeks out of the 2. But it's about, when do I play it? Do I play it, the next game week when there's a potential double, or do I save it for the drama of the last day of the season when the players could be all over the place?
You're saving it for Norwich Spurs, and that is that, because Spurs are going to definitely have a chance of that top 4 spot going into the last game of the season. They'll beat Burnley, and regardless of what Newcastle Arsenal do, they'll have that chance. So, yeah.
It's almost like they planned this. You know what I mean? So it's almost like someone's planned this, where we're in a situation where where you could be 3 points ahead going into that last game. I've got my triple captain on Kane or Son, and then we'll see. But anyway, so it's extremely tight, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm absolutely bloody loving it. It's been really, really good last few weeks, because to be honest, at one point I thought you were going to run away with it. I think you were probably about 12 points, 15 points clear at one point. I got it back. Son and Kane have been incredible. Salah's dropped off, and KDB's form's just picked up, so that's kind of made it a bit more interesting. But obviously, we're not a team of individuals, though, are we, mate?
We're not at all. You're a team of two individuals, and I'm a team of two individuals, but at different times of the season. That's how it is. Now, to be fair, I got three other players who got into the double figures this game week. So it wasn't too much. Kevin De Bruyne only contributed 60 of my 143 points. So yes, that's big, but there's still another 83 points in there. So that's not bad. Granted, it was across another 14 players, but that's not the point here. Okay? 13 if you don't include the keeper that didn't play any minutes. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, so
I've just had a thought though, mate. I've just realised. Do you remember we were talking about playing our chips this week? If I had played my triple captain, mate, honestly, that would have been the difference, and that would have been it. I couldn't lose.
Yeah, but last podcast, people listened to that. You remember Heath saying, "Nah, I'm not going to play it because I think you're going to win this game week anyway." So yeah, you didn't play it, and yeah, that's nicely come back and bitten you in the bum again. Another great managerial decision from Mr. Heath, and I really do think you should be in front of the board, even if you win our head-to-head this league game this year. If your Southern All Stars board should be thinking, why have we not done better in the overall sort of league and stuff? And it's because of some bad decisions. Bad decisions, but never mind. Don't you worry. I still like you. It's okay. You can come be my assistant manager next season. I probably won't listen to you too much, but you can just have the glory of that if you like. Being a Northern team. So we'll see.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. Don't worry. This is now a chance for you to vent some anger. I've wound you up. Me and KDB have obviously had some fun at your expense, and Kevin De Bruyne. I want to know who is on Mr. Heath's shit list this week. Michael Keane shit list. So please tell us, me and Kevin De Bruyne, the shit list.
So again, if you guys are new listeners, just an FYI, we call it the Michael Keane shit list because Michael Keane has made a lot of mistakes. And I just want to point out, yesterday I saw him in person, and the amount of times he gave away the ball or played balls out for throws and stuff. The guy is really lacking confidence, but he did have that. I remember saying to you as well earlier on in the season, I could just see it. Michael Keane scoring that all-important goal that beats Watford and relegates Watford and keeps Everton up. Well, it did nearly happen, but unfortunately, A, we were already relegated, and B, Everton look like they're already going to stay up, unfortunately. But yeah, so we can only choose a maximum of 5 players, or it can be other things that basically affect our week. Could be VAR, could be ourselves, could be managers, could be anything. But I'll crack on with my shit list, and I think it's safe to say that there's one person who should definitely be on this shit list without a doubt, and I don't think anyone can complain about this, and it's Leandro Dendoncker. And you're saying to me, why is Leandro Dendoncker on the shit list? Didn't he score the goal? Yes, he fucking did, and that is the problem. Don't make them angry, Leandro. Do not make them angry. Don't score, because the moment that you score, Man City are like, okay, now they've made me angry. Now I'm going to have to go and absolutely smash them. we're not going to allow another Real Madrid situation here. Oh, we saw what you did against Chelsea. Yeah, you upset Heath there as well. But we are going to make sure that not only do we beat you, Wolves, but we're going to hurt you, and we're going to score and score and score. Oh, Leandro.
He also missed the sitter against Chelsea as well, which he should have scored.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm less worried about that one just because of my Chelsea defenders. But at the same time, it was a stinker.
Heath is clearly, guys, just so you're aware, in the Liverpool camp to winning the league over Man City this season. Just to make that clear, if it wasn't already.
Say that again.
You're clearly in the Liverpool camp to win the league.
Not at all, mate. Not at all. Quite the opposite.
That's it. Sorry. It slipped my mind. Oh, it's because it then made KDB go on an insane run, yeah? Is that it?
That's your one. That's the one.
It must have slipped my mind. Sorry about that, Heath.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
It wasn't deliberate, I promise.
Just keep reeling me in, mate. I'll come. But yeah, no, they basically Wolves made City angry and Kevin De Bruyne destroyed me, and that is the end of that. So I have to say that could be my shit list, but I'm actually going to add a couple more people on there. I feel like Roy Hodgson has to go on there. I'm sorry, Roy, but you know, I still like you. Not many Watford fans do like you anymore, but I still like you.
People likes him anyway.
But I do think that what you did the other day was a thoughtless. I don't know, like it's just plain disrespectful. You know, it came across that when you took the job at Watford that you had a plan and that you thought that you had a plan and that you thought that maybe you could keep this team up. And fair enough, right? It hasn't worked out, but there are a couple of PR disasters that really have manifested themselves recently. One where we're losing at home in the bright sunshine. You've got your sunnies on and you've got a big smile on your face, seeing us basically get relegated. And then the second one is not only seeing us lose to your former team that you had great success with, but you in the public eye celebrate with them. I mean, come on, mate. I've never seen anything like that myself. And, you know, I'm a Watford fan, so I'm frustrated by that. But if I was at the game, yeah, I would have been absolutely livid. But again, I get Palace fans clapping you off. And I don't think that, you know, there was the whole, there was something on Twitter about him having a, you know, kind of walk around the pitch and clapping everyone. I don't think that's the case. I think he just got clapped off by the Palace fans because they loved him and he did a great job for them and stuff.
Fantastic job.
But it's the celebrating after. It's the celebrating after with the old Palace players and stuff. That was poor.
I mean, look, I don't think you guys really giving him that much love. He was already leaving at the end of this season, and I think he's probably retiring. And I think, well, yeah, let's go to let's just, you know, I'm at the club that adored me the most. He achieved, you know, great things with Palace on that budget and, you know, with a very aging team, and he got them to do what they did. He set up a great platform for, you know, Patrick Vieira, who's now added some youth in to that. They've still got some of the experienced players there, but, you know, Vieira's now brought some to Palace. And I think, you know, Roy Hodgson's got to be, you know, and I thought, you know, it was really good of the Palace fans to applaud him like they did, which I didn't expect anything less. Did I expect him to go around doing that? Definitely not. I didn't think he would. But I tell you what, I mean, because it's not my team and because it's your team as well, which makes it just even funnier for me, obviously. Why wouldn't it? But, you know, it was just great to watch. But, yeah, I mean, if that had been a Rotherham manager doing that, of course, I'd be a bit fuming about it as well. So I can understand what the fans sort of thought about it. But at the same time, you're already relegated. You know, so it's not.
Well, we technically weren't really. We were like we would have to have won every game and made up a bit of goal difference before that Crystal Palace game. So the Crystal Palace game did effectively relegate us. But again, put yourself in the shoes of Watford fans seeing, you know, their arch enemy Wilfried Zaha relegate them. You know, and then your manager going over to celebrate with him afterwards. It's not good. But anyway. we move on, and I think that's the thing about
a lovely wound. Yes.
Yeah, I think that has to be out there really, and I don't think Roy would have too many problems with me putting him on the shit list. I'm sure that is something that will sink him, and he'll probably have to apologise to me at some point. Yeah,
Sure,
and then
he'll have that high on his agenda, definitely.
then I mean the other one who's on my shit list, and realistically he's probably on your shit list. So I might have nicked him, but it has to be that Meslier at Leeds against Arsenal. Eddie Nketiah, who I should have brought in instead of Dennis. What a schoolboy. Yes. Anyway, doesn't matter. Should have, coulda, woulda, right? Or shoulda, woulda, coulda. Anyway, so yeah, Eddie Nketiah scored because Meslier just stalled on the ball. I mean, I think that's the second time we've seen that this season, isn't it? It wasn't that long ago that I've seen someone else do that, where the keeper's just held onto the ball and just, it was the Man City keeper against Liverpool, wasn't it? In the
Skeltenberg, it was in the FA Cup. Yeah, it wasn't Edison. It was
it was Stefan, wasn't it?
Stefan, yeah, not Skeltenberg. It was God, yeah, Stefan.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, it looks bad when that happens. You know, it's awful that happened to that guy in the final, but semi-final. But when it happens to a team in a relegation fight, I mean, that is pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
There's this thing about keepers playing out. Yes, of course, teams want to do that, but there is a time when you just need don't do that. You go find out, especially Leeds right now. What Leeds need to be focusing on, because they concede a lot of goals. They should be focusing on getting that ball into the other team's half as far over in their half as possible, as quickly as possible. The quicker it's out of their own half, the less likely are to lose the ball and give it away and concede. You're not going to concede many goals if the ball is in the other team's half. David Beckham's not on the pitch anymore, so you don't have to worry about that. So Leeds should be getting more direct, getting the ball out there, and trying to win it back in their half. Instead, they're trying to still fanny around with it in their own half, losing it because they're not good enough and teams are better than them. And when you give good players the ball in your own half, they're going to punish you. So yeah, it's just, but it's, is it the keeper's fault? Yes, it is. But also, I think the way they're being told to play is obviously, it's clearly a factor in it. These keepers are not being told, don't try and pass it out. They're being told, try and pass it out. Let's keep the ball. Let's, look at using it that way. They're not being told just to hump it. Some keepers do, and you know which teams they are. But a lot of these keepers are being told, let's look. Because these keepers are so much better on the ball than what they were back in the sort of 80s and 90s, and they've got to be. But it is just, it's the sign of the game. And it will cost you goals though. Edison, nearly slipped, didn't he, for City not long back, got really close, and it's happened in other games. So I think it is just the fact that teams are being told to play this way. But there's an alternative to that route. My alternative to that route, if anyone watched the Spurs Liverpool game at the weekend and the Spurs goal, so Spurs, people might not believe this, but it was quite deliberate what Spurs did. They had the ball in their own back line. They played some short passes, let Liverpool push right onto, and Liverpool went for the press like they always do. And what happened? Spurs played it to Lloris, and Lloris wasn't looking to play it short because he saw the fullbacks pushed on. He played a long ball because the fullbacks were gone, and then there was a space there behind the fullbacks. Then there was a bit of a long ball, but because Liverpool were already sort of, the fullbacks had been pushed on at that, they were chasing back. Keane then got the ball to his feet and took his time, showed quality. Sessegnon squared it, Son scored. That was a very deliberate move from Conte to entice Liverpool to come and do that press, because what Spurs are arguably the best team at doing in the Premier League is counter-attacking. I don't think there's a better team at counter-attacking than Spurs, to be honest with you, in the Premier League. Liverpool and City, they do the press and they can control the ball against most teams. Liverpool can counter-attack, don't get me wrong, and so can City, but they're normally the team in most possession, whereas Spurs deliberately play on the counter-attack. You see what happens when they have to come at teams like Brighton. It doesn't quite work for them. In that game, That's why Spurs have had success against Liverpool this season. Liverpool haven't beaten Spurs in the league this season. Drew both games, and they were lucky to draw both games, in my opinion, because Spurs just know how to do that counter-attack against them. And, that was a deliberate ploy. And that shows when a keeper should play it longer sometimes. You can still get rewards from it, from getting the ball up there, and you try and win the ball back if it's not on like that.
So, Klopp enjoyed it though, didn't he? He loved that style of play.
Oh, yeah. Well, is it my turn for the shit list? Because I could start it off with that straight away if you want. Jurgen Klopp, number 1 on the shit list again. Right, look, I love Jurgen Klopp, people. Don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, fantastic white teeth as well. Everyone adores that. But the bitterness about, teams come and play like that and stuff, it's just like, look, not every team's going to come and try and just conform to the way Liverpool play. Spurs have found a way to cause you problems, and you don't know how to deal with it. And that's your problem. You need to learn how to deal with that, all right? Don't get bitter about a team coming and not conforming to how you play. Spurs didn't play negatively. They still went and started creating things, especially in the second half. They got the lead. They had some other chances potentially as well, and they've done it. They did it to you at their ground. Spurs should have beaten Liverpool at their own ground as well. They just know how to do it because Spurs have got great players like Son, who's smart enough, works hard enough to get back and tracks back the fullbacks, but he's just more turned on. The Liverpool went to try and do that deep press, like I've already mentioned. Son was switched on. As soon as he went back to Luis, he was gone, and he's in behind the fullbacks, and it causes Liverpool problems. And Klopp doesn't like that. Of course, nobody likes it when teams cause them problems, but there's no need to be bitter about it. No need to be sort of, making sly digs that people might not notice that is against how Spurs play. Spurs played well. They played the tactics perfectly, and they got some out of the game. He was just maybe bitter because he knows that that's probably their title lost, which, the way Man City are firing goals in at the moment, it could well be because they've all of a sudden, Liverpool not only just given up a 3-point lead now to City, they've also got a 7-goal difference to catch up if the City need to lose a game, but Liverpool need to start scoring some goals as well now. So by the time Liverpool play Liverpool play the FA Cup final on Saturday, come Sunday, if Man City get a win, a tough game away at West Ham though, so it's not guaranteed. But City win at West Ham, Liverpool know they've got double problems here. So I think it really is just sounded really bitter from Klopp, and I was disappointed with him for that, and he's on the shit list for that reason.
I think he's always had that in his locker, hasn't he? And I think, to be honest, I think sometimes as a football fan, you look at Pep and you look at Klopp and you kind of think to yourself, like, you've literally got all this handed to you. I know they've had to work hard to a certain extent to get to where they've got to, right? But the fact that they are miles ahead of anyone else in that league with the players they've got, again, I mean, I know people will say, well, Man United and Chelsea have spent a lot of money and sort of other clubs and stuff. But the fact is that Man City and Liverpool are by far better than anyone else. The moment they start getting bitter about it, I mean, Pep had his moment as well where he was frustrated at the fact that he said that everyone were Liverpool fans or something. Realistically, I think he's probably talking about journalists and stuff, and that to a certain extent is, I think you talked about it actually the other week, but the idea of having, Souness and Redknapp, then going into the commentary box with Carragher, and all right, well, maybe he's got a point, but the fact is, I don't think as fans, I think most will probably prefer City to win the league than Liverpool, if I'm being honest with you.
I think so. I think there's one. I don't think clubs probably want Liverpool to win the quadruple. Maybe it'd be a great achievement. But like I said, don't get me wrong, Klopp's done great, and he's transformed Liverpool. He's made him into a top side. And most seasons, 10, 12 years ago, Liverpool probably would have won the league the last 3 or 4 seasons, but they haven't, right? And people stating Klopp's the most successful manager, Liverpool, the best Liverpool manager ever. He isn't. He hasn't fucking won the trophies to make him that, to be fair. And let's be honest, trophies do count as managers. That goes without saying when you're the top clubs. But these two teams, these two managers, yeah, they've got the resource and everything. I think Klopp's brilliant in the transfer market. He seems to just, that Diaz is fantastic. We're starting to see a bit more Naby Keita now as well, who's looking good. They signed Andy Robertson. What a deal that was. Obviously, Van Dijk spent a lot of money on, but great business. Klopp doesn't get too many failures in the transfer market. I don't think Pep gets too many either, but there's been a few more maybe that are just a bit more notable because City spend a lot more money on their players more often than not. But I think, yeah, it was just a really bitter moment for me from Klopp, and I don't think it was necessary. I'd rather him be bitter when something goes wrong when they play against City, but him and Pep are like lovey-dovey, and it seems a bit too nicey, whereas there should really be a lot more needle because these two teams are trying to beat each other and that. But yeah, it was just didn't sit well with me. The next two things that are on my list are actually teams, Heath, and I think you're gonna love this. Why these are these? So the two teams on my shit list are Leicester and Watford. And do you want to know why this is, Heath?
Well, Leicester, I would imagine. No, go on. I don't know.
Yeah, don't even try guessing. So what is our shit list called? It's the Michael Keane shit list. However, Leicester and Watford have played against him in game week 36, and he's got bonus points against both teams. How
Has
have they
he?
allowed that to happen? Yes. 2 bonus points against Watford, 8 points. 1 bonus point against Leicester. What are they doing? They are making a mockery of our shit list all of a sudden, these two clubs, by allowing this to happen. Now, this is, not Michael Keane's fault. That's why I'm blaming those clubs. They are now making our shit list title come back and haunt us because he's getting bonus points. He's getting bonus points. What is the world coming to? It's just not on. It's not acceptable.
This is what's crazy about the bonus points system. I mean, like the fact is that I watched the game.
It was terrible yesterday.
No, I didn't say it was terrible. I just said that he made a lot of mistakes. But the fact is that he probably won a lot in the air. But realistically, there were 3 better players out there. I mean, Ben Foster for one, he was definitely. I think he got the 3 bonus points.
He got the 3, yeah.
I would say to a certain extent that Damari Gray was better. I mean, I tell you what, some of his corners into the box, him and Gordon, some of their corners were fantastic. But yeah, I wouldn't say Keane was one of the better players. But again, that's what happens with the bonus point system. It does kind of like, yeah,
killing us,
killing
our shit list name title. It's really killing us. I just cannot apprehend it, So yeah, well done to those 2 clubs for making the shit list. Congrats, fellas. I've got to put Brandon Williams on there. Brandon, I mean, you play for Norwich, so I know it's not your fault. You're going to concede a lot of goals, but if anyone who gets minus point in my fantasy squad is going to get a shit list mention. I mean, especially that could have cost me potentially in the head-to-head. If I'd have lost or drawn it because of that -1 point from you, you would have been getting some serious abuse on here. But instead, I'm just saying, look, you got a minus point for a game week. You deserve to be on there. The other part of the shit list, I'm putting them as a duo because they're equally challenging. Really, they'd probably be on my hit list if we were doing a hit list this week. But it's Dan James and Luke Ayling from Leeds United.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
I mean, your team's in trouble. You're in a massive relegation battle, and you throw in red card challenges. Now, yes, in the 90s they weren't red cards. In the 80s there were great tackles as well. But
I think the alien one would have been in the 90s. There's 2-footed tackle.
Yeah,
that would have been a sending off. The James one would have been
late 90s, yeah, early 90s. I think he still might have got away with a yellow there. But yeah, I think you don't do that. And I mean, it's tough enough when you're struggling. You've got you're in a relegation dogfight, and you're playing against Arsenal and Chelsea, and you're getting sent off for being reckless and just being stupid. Now, and there's being eager and being committed and having that enthusiasm, but you got to be able to control it. And neither player showed that control really there. And as much as, like I said, it's brilliant to see that Leeds are suffering here, and they may go down. They've got a tough. It's going to be close, that's for sure. I think if you look at things, I think Leeds have still got a slightly better chance. I mean, they've got Brighton at home, but Brighton in good form. They've got Brentford away, whereas Burnley, they've got Spurs away next. They've got Villa away next. Villa just gave them a tonking. Then they've got Newcastle at home last game. So, you know, Burnley, that extra game could count for them. Like you said, Everton have got 2 home games, Brentford and Palace. They get a win in one of those, and you think they're probably all but there. But it's, you don't do that. You got to give your team a stronger chance. And they fought back well, did Leeds against Arsenal. Got it back to 2-1, and put in a great shift. But against Chelsea, soon they were 1-0 down anyway. Then got a man sent off, and you just knew from then on in Chelsea were just gonna see them away. And you just need those players to just be smarter, to be fair. So it's, they're on the shit list for Leeds fans out there. I don't only give you anything, Leeds fans, but I'm giving you this. You can put those 2 players are on my shit list because you got to read the situation better, fellas, and you've cost your team any chance of getting a single point out there, and 1 point. And guess what? If you got a draw out of either of those games, you'd be 17th and not 18th right now. Goal difference, you're going down if it goes to level points. You need to finish your point above Burnley or Everton, otherwise you're down anyway. But yeah, you've cost your team there, Dan James and Luke Ayling. So I'm sure you'll pay real good attention to my words right now and take it to heart. But yeah, there you go. That's my shit list for this week, Heath.
So we've got the North versus South mini league, and more importantly, the mini cup, the mini league cup. And this week we've got quite exciting news on both fronts. And if you've not listened to this podcast before, I hope you're enjoying it so far. I hope you've got this far and you're subscribed and you've ticked all the right boxes, and you're telling all your mates and your family about this incredible podcast that you've just found out about. But anyway, so we have a mini league, and we've got 30 odd people in there, and that mini league has evolved into a mini league cup. And the mini league is still going strong. Some people have fallen away, unfortunately, but the guys at the top are going for it. And it looks like it's going to be one hell of a couple of game weeks. So, State, tell us more.
Yeah, well, mini league, which isn't so mini, is really hotting up now. I mean, we've seen some big numbers coming in this game week with the double game week. So there's still a little bit of recalculation going on, but right down at the bottom, we don't need to say too much. But our man El Badger Poopers, Nick Edwards, big 64 points from him. Still not doing anything with his team, but he had Lukaku as captain like he has for the last forever, and he got him big points for him. So well done him on that. You could just
sorry, mate. You could just imagine him like logging into his team and going, "Guys, I've absolutely nailed it this week. I got 64 points," and just looking at everyone else's team going, fuck.
Yeah, it's still low down, that's for sure. So yeah, but he's rival at the bottom, Sam Diamond with High Tech FC. He's got 70 points. Again, he's not touching his team, but he's clearly he's pulling it away. He ain't gonna be caught. He's gonna get that second bottom spot. So congratulations to him. Our men who are competing there, Eddie Moran and Harrison Copley at Keane in the South. Eddie in the cup this week, but I'll get into that soon. 61 points. And then Harrison with Ned Starks, my dad, the other northern team in the group. Big haul this week, 111 points from him. Well done, my man. You know what? He didn't even make any transfers this game week, and he got 111. What a
player. They were like head to head last game week. They literally had the same amount of points, and it's taken is Raheem Sterling captaincy that's made Harrison go back above Eddie. So Eddie gonna have to do something, mate.
Looks like Eddie Moran's gonna be the lowest placed of the fully north or south teams, but still fair play to you. Followed then with you better check yourself, and then have lost as well. Lost it with Essex tight. So yeah, but thank you very much, those. Let's go to the business end of the table though, Heath. This is where things are starting to horn up now. Kevin Bernard with Crucible FC had an unassailable lead.
He did.
It was the whole Newcastle miles clear in the 90s against United. And, Kevin said, I'll love it if we beat them. I'll love it. And he's on about Connor Tobin. But Kevin he's got 81 points this game week. So he might get a couple more if Son gets some bonus points, which I'm pretty sure he has got a bonus point there. So I think it's already been added, actually. So, yeah, he's got 81 points. But Connor's gone big. He's hit 121 points. He played his bench boost. He had Foster on his bench, Some people had Foster on the bench this week. There you go. Well done, my son. He had De Bruyne as vice captain. The only failure that he has is that he had De Bruyne, KDB as the vice, and he had Salah as his captain. He'll be kicking himself for that because he's missed out there on an extra 27 points that he got from not having Salah as captain and having KDB as captain. And that would have been, if he'd have got those 27 points, he'd have actually been at the top of the table. That's what's going to gripe him more at the end of it. But he's clawed it back with 40-point haul there. So he's now, Kevin's on 2,362 and Connor's on 2,337 overall. So there's a 25-point difference now. That's nothing coming into these last 2 game weeks. I don't know what chips they have left, but that's nothing. And don't forget Mike Matthews.
He's definitely in there.
He's holding with 105 this game week. Again, don't know if he's got any chips, but he's on 2-3-1-3, so he's definitely not out of the running of it. Yeah, he's got 49 points to claw up to get up to the top.
That can be done in a 1 game week. Just look at Nezduck's my dad. I mean, he's just gone and smashed Eddie Moran.
That's it.
50 points.
And I mean, you could go look at someone like our former leader, the man who was up near the top early doors in the season, Summit the Ear.
Oh, I know, yeah.
33. I think he must have given up because 33 points. He's just terrible. I mean, he's still got Lacazette in there.
Yeah, he's definitely given up. I think another mention, mate, has to be Veldora Tempest, mate, because FPL Gluttony were just below us, I think.
And 7. Triple captained Kevin De Bruyne. That's going to get you some points this game week, definitely. Yeah, 90 points. Did 4 transfers. Kevin De Bruyne, triple captain. That's a play and a half.
Well played, sir.
90 points there. I mean, that means that the rest of the team haven't really done as well as they thought they might have done because he's got 90 of 147, but who cares? You do that. The person who got the most points in this game week is 213 points, I believe, I think. And might be a little bit more than that, but they didn't actually triple captain. They captained Sterling. They were the top point scorer as of before tonight's games, and they had Sterling as captain who got 56 points and De Bruyne in there and everything. But yeah, well done to FPL Gluttony. A fantastic score of the week, I think, beating me by 4 points. Leone Cameron 132. Well done to Leone. Heath, you turned up with a few of us, which is good. My man Ashton Horner, go on Ashton, only 89 sunshine. I think I'm winning that little battle, my man. But I know your priorities are on the other one, which you're in close in. I think with the Dream Team or the Sky League. So good luck with that, my friend. But yeah, some great scores this week. Some funny low scores in there as well. But let's get on to the serious business now. The Cup. The North versus South Cup. We're in the quarterfinals this game week, people. Quarterfinals. Quarterfinal number 1. Eddie Moran, King in the South versus Warbones Jones. And I tell you what, Warbones Jones, he has got 90 points. However, he made 10 transfers, which gives him a minus 32, which puts him on 58. And Eddie Moran, who is 3rd bottom in the league, he's going to the semi-finals. He's got 61 points this game week.
All right. So we're going to go back to our shit list, and Simon Jones, unfortunately, has to be on both our shit lists. The fact that I don't know what Eddie Moran paid you to make all those transfers, mate, but it's absolute work to treat for Eddie.
You're a hero, Eddie. I don't even know if you looked at your team this game week, but if you didn't, mate, you need to start looking at it. I don't think he did, because he's gonna have 1 point coming in from Bednarak. Lucas Moura came on, so he's got some points on his bench, to be fair. But I think he needs to start looking at his team for the Cup semi-final, because son, you're going there. You're Wigan Athletic. It's a cup upset. We can feel it already. Go on, Eddie. You've got the whole of this league and anyone who listens to this podcast rooting for you, maybe barring Heath, to be fair. But I think even if Heath was to lose to you in the final, as much as he'd be down by it, he wouldn't be anyone else left in this who he'd rather lose to. So, yeah. So, Eddie, I think you're going through, pal. Well done, my son. Well done. Yeah, and Warbones, Simon Jones. Hey, you've had a stinker. A stinker, son. 10 transfers. I've not seen anything like that in my entire FPL career. So, never mind. Next quarterfinal. Ryan Bennett from my work, Spud United. You know, Ryan, it's his first time actually on FPL. He does the Sky one all the time. 80 points, not terrible, not great. I think a lot of people would have been hoping to turn up this game week because there was good chances. I think Bernardo is his captain, but 80 points is not good enough to beat Big Ben Marion.
The man on form. The man on form.
Form man. He's on form and he's hit 122 points. His bench boost. Keane is captain. He's got Son. He's got Diaz, Watkins, Laporte. His bench, he had Nketiah on as his third sub on his bench sub. Nketiah obviously hauled against Leeds. So, well played, Ben. You're going through to the semi-finals and, with current form, people aren't going to want to face you, that's for sure. Then we've got McGinn, Tonic, Simon Dent, 67 points. Now, Denty has had an absolute nightmare. He's had a nightmare. He's triple captain this game week. He's triple captain Mo Salah. What an absolute mare. Sorry, Dentos.
You could say that McGinn and Tonic has bottled it.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terribly good. Terribly good. Don't worry, guys. We'll finish the podcast as quick as possible after that. That's going to lose us some viewers. That's for sure. Where's KDB when you need him? KDB. There he goes. He's back. He's back. But yeah, Dentos. Sorry, pal. Triple captain Salah. I can see probably why he might have done it, but like Heath said earlier in the podcast, his form's not been worth a triple captain on him. But yeah, that means you're on 63. You've played Mike Matthews, who's obviously third place in the league, doing well. He's at 105 points. So Mike is going through to the semi-finals as well. And then we go to the final quarter-final. Our very own podcast of Heath with his Southern All-Stars versus Paul Pond with Dirty Sancho. And Paul's, giving a good effort. He's at 93 points. He took a -4. Again, his problem was his captain choice. He had Salah as captain and it's cost him. It has cost him because if he'd have captained his vice or someone like one of his Spurs players, chance side have won the game week. Heath with 102 points though. Going to go through, even with 50,000 points on his bench, he's still able to go through, which is a sign of a good team. So our semi-finalists are looking like the Southern All-Stars Heath, with Mike Matthews, Mazza's King Gary 11, which is Big Gear Ben, and then quarter-final, King in the South, Eddie Moran, the fans' favourite. Go on, Eddie, son. Go on.
It's an absolute honour to have got as far as I have. I genuinely think that when it comes down to
no one's interested in your bloody acceptance speech, you're into a semi-final. Come on, I know you've had a bad season with Watford, pal. But come on, don't punish everyone else.
So for the people listening right now and they're saying to themselves, what are they playing for though? What actually, will they receive if they win this cup? Well, I've got some good news. In the week, I was on a website, not that kind of website, and I found something. That will be given to the eventual winner of the cup. We haven't even got anything for the league winner yet, so we'll have to get something for them as well. But the cup winner will receive a North versus South FPL podcast. Cup. Just a little one, a little mug. And ultimately it will be the second set of merchandise from this very own podcast. The other one, unfortunately, just like Watford season, is fading. Every time it gets washed, it fades. it's now got to a point where there potentially is another shirt on its way.
Ooh.
So you have to wait till the next game.
Does that have Kevin De Bruyne's name on it?
You have to wait till next podcast to hear more about that. But yeah, there is a cup on its way, getting delivered to me soon. And whoever wins it, it might just be me. I might just keep it for myself. Who knows?
If it's you, it's null and void. But I don't think it is. I think there's too many better form players than you. I think, to be fair though, you've done well to get to the semi-finals. I mean, crikey, I got absolutely done in our cup, and that cost me because I'd have flown through in game weeks, and I lost to bloody Warburton Simon Jones, who can't even beat Eddie Moran. I mean, for God's sake, how embarrassing is that for me now?
It's worked out an absolute perfect treat for me. I mean, like I said earlier, shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda. The fact is, big man, is that you have to focus on the league because that's what you're playing for now.
I'm focused on that. I am focused, and you can tell I'm focused because I've gone top of the league. So that's as much focus as I need right now.
You're doing a Man City. You're angry. You're playing angry.
De Bruyne. Oh, Kevin De Bruyne. He's gonna win the league for City, and he's gonna hopefully win the league for me as well. So let's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But yeah, it's good. It's good that there's some prizes out there, guys, and everyone's a winner except for the people who don't actually win. So that makes most of them.
And maybe the league winner who might not win anything because we haven't got anything yet for them. But we'll find something.
We'll find a sponsor on your stag do. I'll find us a sponsor on your stag do in a week on Saturday. Okay.
Sounds good to me,
my
mate.
Objective. My objective is to obviously screw you over, but to find us a sponsor for our podcast. I reckon we can do that. That's possible. Definitely possible. So yeah, we'll go for it. We'll go for it. Moving on. So if you've been listening to our recent podcasts, we've been reviewing other FPL podcasts, which you might think, why? Why would you do that? Well, the reason is because we are actually nice guys. Maybe not to each other, maybe not to Premier League footballers and clubs, but we like promoting other people who take their own time to do their own FPL podcasts. And Heath came up with an idea that we do this, and we've reviewed, I think, 4 podcasts now. Is that correct, Heath? I think.
4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5, and I think it's good because we like to try and promote other podcasts because we're not there saying just listen to ours. We're the only ones to listen to. There's some great podcasts out there about FPL which are great for various different reasons, and this week is no different. We have decided to do a man and wife FPL podcast, which is called the FPL Family, and this is with Lee and Sam. And Lee is a Liverpool fan. Sam is a Spurs fan. And Sam will be a very happy lady this evening as Spurs have just beaten Arsenal 3-0. I won't go into it. I'll go into it when we review the podcast. It's unique in my opinion. I don't think I've not come across any other podcast which is a husband and wife in FPL. I'm sure there is other husband and wife or partners podcasts out there, but this is the first one I've seen in FPL. And yeah, I mean, Heath, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that this is kind of like a podcast that has kind of like come away from the Fantasy Football Scout. I believe that both Lee and what was her name again?
Sam.
Yeah, sorry. So I believe that Lee and Sam have both been on the Fantasy Football Scout, and ultimately they've kind of like developed this podcast from that. And what this is, right, is it offers something that we've not really heard so far. First of all, it's fantastic to hear, and I don't want to be patronizing here, but it is really good to hear, a female offering FPL advice, because I think in the FPL community, there's really limited amount of women who are involved, and when they are, they love it. And to be honest, they're really interesting characters who offer a lot, but unfortunately, there's not enough of them. It's a very male-dominated kind of place, really. And yeah, I think the one thing you can say straight away is that both Lee and Sam both know a hell of a lot, and they are. I'm sure this isn't an insult to them, but they are 100% FPL geeks. Like, they live and breathe it. Like, you can tell that they absolutely love the game, and that
Love
it's
football, don't they?
yeah,
Well?
and they love football, and they, the podcast.
Apparently, being a Liverpool fan, obviously.
Well, that's the first bad thing. So this is now the second podcast host we've come across who is a Southerner supporting Liverpool. And that is a big no-no. And maybe Lee has got an excuse that his great-granddad's granddad once went to Liverpool for a drink or something like that. And that's the reason why he's a Liverpool fan. But for me, that is straight away a big no-no. I'm not a big fan of that. And actually, to be honest, that actually kind of leads me into probably my only kind of. I thought this was it's a really nice podcast, and they know a lot about their stuff, and they talk a lot of sense, and they offer a lot, but it's just way too biased towards Spurs and way too biased towards Liverpool. There's way too much talk about how Arsenal are going to fail, and how Man United are going to fail, and Man City are going to fail, and I just don't.
That. Hatred of other teams. I have lots of time.
If I sat here on this podcast and just talked about Watford every week, about how we're going to win the league, or how we're going to win an FA Cup or something like that, and how Luton are going to get relegated, and how they obviously have tunnel vision for their football club and all the rivalries around their football club, and I understand that and I get that, but I'll be honest with you, realistically, this isn't a podcast about their football club. This is about FPL, and this is about all the teams in FPL. And I've got to be honest with you, this is one of the bugbears that I have about podcasts in general, or any kind of journalism. I mean, we were kind of hinting at it earlier about the Liverpool situation, but I can't stand hearing just about the bigger clubs. I want to hear a range. I want to hear about anyone that's got any interest. I don't want someone turning around and going, well, I think that team is awful, and not having anything to back it up with, just using that as an example, and then saying that a team like Spurs and Liverpool, I mean, to be fair, at this very moment in time, I'm sure both the FPL family are very, very happy right now, because both their teams are doing very well. But it's kind of one of those things that I just don't particularly like, when I can hear people talking with shutters on, and not really kind of like looking into the kind of the bigger picture, which is football's bigger than just those football teams. But obviously, that's a negative from my perspective. However, I will say that what they do offer is it feels like almost like a children's podcast, in the sense of it's very, very light. They're very, very easy going characters. They're not offending many people, really. They're just kind of having fun, enjoying themselves, not taking it too seriously. The one thing that I've really liked about this podcast is the fact that they can really lay into each other. They can really lay into each other, and they are allowed to, because they are married, and because they are a family. There's this real good connection between the two of them, which no other podcast, as included, can offer, because you just don't know each other the way they know each other. And I love that. I think that's great.
My missus would fall out with me if we had a podcast together, because I would probably give her a bit of banter and stuff, and then she'd storm off, or or I'd hear about it afterwards, sort of thing, and yeah, I completely agree with that. Great shout. Yeah, definitely a huge benefit, positive about that.
Definitely. And like I say, that I like the fact that you can just imagine them sitting there watching the Liverpool Spurs game the other day, and both of them being well incredibly nervous, especially when Spurs went
Different
1-0.
rooms, you reckon? Different rooms or
Well, it doesn't
same
sound
room?
like it. It sounded
No,
like
it
they
didn't.
had they both had to kind of like take it easy with the celebrations, but apparently, from what I understand, is that obviously for what they told us on the podcast was that see Sam enjoyed her goal a little bit more than Lee did, and therefore it was a bit, there was a little bit of an atmosphere, but you can't help that in the moment. As much as I you know, I'm not a massive fan of people talking so biased towards their club, and the fact is that when you're watching a game, it's very, very difficult to hold back the celebrations. You have to enjoy it in the moment. So I totally understand how Sam reacted that way, especially where the fact that, let's be honest, you're going to Liverpool, at Anfield. Not many people gave Spurs a proper chance of winning that game. I mean, I think that some thought they might get a point.
Don't have a good record at Anfield recently, the Spurs either. So yeah, no, really good. And
So you can understand why she enjoyed it so much.
on that point, could get them that top four spot in the end. Who knows? Who knows? Mm.
Definitely. What did you think, mate?
Nah, I really liked it. To be fair, I loved the banter between them. And yeah, they just obviously. I tell you what's really great is and apologies, this doesn't mean to sound patronised, but they want to do this together. They're doing this podcast together as as husband and wife, and that's fantastic. Who the fact that they want to spend that time, but they've got this genuine passion about football, not just FPL, but about football. And you're right, yeah, they have got a bit biased towards their teams, but I actually, personally, from my perspective, that's not negative from my side of things, because I don't mind hearing that. I'd like a little bit more biasness. I kind of, it's like, in football commentary, I want to hear biasness. I want to hear Gary Neville. I love seeing Gary Neville. When you see the video clips of him when United score and he celebrates, Jamie Carragher does the same. Yeah, the opinions still, you still, come across as professional and everything. And I think their opinions do come across professional still as well, in terms of FPL. Got great knowledge. They do cover the other teams, which I do like. But yeah, of course, they've got that bias. And I suppose they just struggle a little bit with that bias. But I think I would do maybe a little bit more. It's not as difficult for me as a Rotherham fan. I'm never going to have to worry about FPL bias with Rotherham. Those type of things don't necessarily bother me probably as much as they bother you. But I think me and you look for different things in podcasts, so that's probably the
Yeah,
reason.
I just think like if I want to listen to people talking about Liverpool or Spurs, I would listen to a Liverpool or Spurs podcast. It's like if I want to listen to that for me is the thing that I go looking specifically for podcasts that offers about many different teams rather than just the top teams. And I know they're the ones that kind of get the headlines and stuff, and they're the ones that probably the ones that draw fans in all around the world. But the fact is that there aren't just 6 teams in the Premier League. There are 20 teams. And to be fair, and you go even lower, there's a lot of interest in the Championship and League One, League Two. And further, the what I'm trying to say is that it's the same with the journalists and the pundits and Sky. I know what you're saying, but I have to disagree. If I wanted to listen to Jamie Carragher get excited about Liverpool, I would listen to Liverpool Fan Zone or Liverpool TV. It's Sky Sports, it's for everyone, and it really does wind me up when I listen to anything. I mean, like I actually can't watch Sky nowadays because I can't listen to Jamie Carragher, kind of. Or, I don't think Gary Neville's as bad. I think Gary Neville's pretty neutral when it comes to United. But I think Carragher's just
more than anyone at the moment.
Yeah, but I think Carragher's just awful when he does the commentary for Liverpool or Everton. I can't listen to it. It just winds me up. And even, again, that is my bugbear, and I happily admit that. But there is a lot more to this podcast than that. I think we're dwelling on that probably a little bit too much. But the fact is that these guys are offering a lot. They know their stats. They know that they do know everything about FPL. You can tell they know it inside out, and they've got a lot of they've got a lot of history with it. You can tell. I mean, they brought up Lundstrom, who was Lord Lundstrom from a couple of years ago, Sheffield United. They brought him up talking about how he scored. He did well for Rangers in the cup the other day, and you can only respect the fact that these guys know that much, because obviously they've been doing this for a while now, and they're probably like two of the more kind of, I guess if you could say the term famous in an FPL sense, these two are up there with a handful of other people who have been offering FPL content for a long time, and they do a great job of it. But I like the fact that if we had, you've got a little boy and stuff, and maybe in 5 or 6 years time, if he's looking for a podcast, this would be perfect, because they're quite innocent characters who have harmless banter. It's nice.
I wonder whether Sam took the boy to the game tonight. She was talking about that in the latest podcast. So it's like she might take their kid Max with them, because he's meant to be a good luck charm.
That's
right.
I
wonder if she actually did take him, and because Spurs have won 3-0 tonight. So if she did take him, he's going to every game from now on. He'll have a season ticket next season, I think, for the Spurs.
Maybe it was
how
Max.
Lee thinks about that, but yeah.
Maybe it was Max who antagonised Rob Holding into getting sent off.
Yeah.
Maybe gave him the finger or something.
Yeah. But I suppose the other thing is, though, they've got a rivalry as well, and I think that's what I love about it, that rivalry, because they're competing against each other, and there's nothing more than you want to beat. You want to beat your best mate, you want to beat your partner at things when you play. If you've got that competitive edge, which they clearly have. And obviously Sam's been winning the FPL from what it sounds like for the last few seasons, but Lee's in front at the moment, and he got a bit of jip about that, because he sort of started saying about it. She was like, "Oh, you start chatting up now, don't you? Now you're leading," which we all do. Who doesn't? Everyone talks up when their team's leading or when you're leading. But yeah, will Lee hang on to it is the question. I mean, I'm sure everyone's got their own opinions. Who would you like to win? The Liverpool fan or the Spurs fan?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, realistically, you'd probably go Spurs over Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool have got enough success in their kind of lives at the moment. Yeah. Gone of the days.
I prefer Spurs as a football team than Liverpool, so I'm going to go with a Spurs fan as well to hopefully win the FPL.
Yeah, I've got a feeling though. Didn't Lee make KDP his captain this week? So I think he's probably won it, hasn't he? After this week,
that's a big haul.
That is. I mean, we haven't really spoken much about it, that haul, have we? Really?
So, what are you rating this season?
I'll probably give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. I don't think that I was really as drawn into it as I have been some of the other podcasts, but it still offers a hell of a lot. And if you're into FPL, then you have to listen to this podcast, because they really do know their stuff. Like they did. Oh, and actually, I tell you what, I'll give them another half. So I'll go up to 7.5 just for the theme tune. So the theme tune was brilliant. They actually had someone play it, adding the FPL family into it. I've not heard a podcast so far. I mean, the FPL Juice one has kind of got some kind of vibe that obviously it's done for them, but this is the first one we've actually heard with the tune for the podcast. I like that. Thought it was good.
Yeah, gone that little extra mile there, aren't they? Yeah,
exactly. So that gives it an extra half. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Still being biased, I still think our theme tune's better, but but yeah, biasness is everything sometimes. No, I mean, to be fair, I like this. I'm giving it an 8.5. Not quite as high as the previous two, where I've done some 9s in there, but I really liked it. Like I said, I like the biasness sometimes. I think it's good. Unlike you, I didn't think that was overloaded on the biasness. I think it still gave enough to other areas. But I think, the true football fans that they are, the passion came out for me, and that is something that I value quite highly when I'm listening to podcasts. I'm not saying others aren't passionate, but I just love that. And yeah, the rapport's great, the banter's great, and yeah, I mean, it's just great to see, like you said, they annihilate each other and take the pace. Good, that it's always good. It's strong for a relationship to support different teams. Would I recommend it? Yes, because they've got great knowledge and they are nice and easy to listen to. The light as well. Yeah, I'd probably say to you, where I marked them down was they could probably maybe be a bit more offensive to other clubs and people, as well outside of their local rivals. I don't mind that either, But obviously, at the same time, you don't want to go overboard. There's a fine line. I probably cross it several times, but others don't need to. But yeah, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. They've got great knowledge. They're clearly passionate football fans. They obviously do well at FPL as well, which is always a good sign, a good benefit. Follow people if you want to do well at FPL. This is a podcast you should listen to. Will I listen to it again? I think so. Yeah, I think I will listen to it again. I don't think it's one I do every week, but I think every week I would like to catch a live show because they do it live, which again is a great feature. Something that is good because they've got the you can send some questions in and some comments. So I like that about it, and I think I would like to tune into a live one at some point as well.
I would definitely recommend it. I think, like I say, sometimes you get like certain people, offering something that isn't out there. And I think what FPL family offer is something that there isn't much of out there, really. There isn't anything else that I know of in the FPL world for sure, where there's, two people kind of in the same family, kind of offering their insight. And obviously that they're both very, very good at FPL kind of adds to that. And also I think that Sam, and again, I don't want to sound patronizing because I really, it shouldn't be like this, but unfortunately it is. And I think the fact that Sam being a woman and offering fantastic FPL content goes a long way. And I think she can be a role model for women who want to get into FPL, because she's not only of a different gender to the stereotypical FPL manager, in the sense of, like, say, majority, unfortunately, are men. But not only is she a woman, but she's also one of the better FPL players out there. She always puts down good scores. So, like I say, she leads by example. And I would say that if you're a woman and you're looking to get into FPL, then I'm sure you would enjoy that, because you can see someone from the same, sex basically smashing 7.9 million or something, because she's normally in the top 100k. Therefore, I would recommend it. However, I don't think I would listen to it again. There's been podcasts I've listened to in the past that I've had to kind of go away from because they're just too top heavy, and there's only so much you can hear about Sadio Mane and Mo Salah, and then you kind of, yeah. Anyway, so I personally don't think I'd listen to it again. So actually, question to you now, right? And be honest, mate. Of all the podcasts we've reviewed so far, which ones have you actually listened to for a second time after we've reviewed them? And be honest.
So right, the ones that we've listened to are was it the Green Hour podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
FPL Juice, FPL The Experiment.
Yeah.
What was the fourth one we did? The guys from
Big at the Back.
Big at the Back as well, and then this one. Yeah, which ones have I listened to again?
Yeah, obviously this one you wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. I've listened to FPL Juice again, and that's it so far.
Oh, you scumbag. Big at the Back, guys. I've listened to your podcast ever since we've been on there. And ultimately States missed out on the plug that you've given us,
I've downloaded it.
Oh, right. So it's good for the stats. I've happily listened to Big at the Back and FPL Juice, but at least State was honest, to be fair, because he could have just gone, yeah, I've been listening to it every week. But
nah, FPL Juice, I've listened to an episode. Big at the Back, I've downloaded one, and I just haven't got around to listening to them, to be fair. I'm a busy man at the moment, to be fair. The only chance I get to listen to podcasts is on my lunch break, really, to be fair, because I won't lie to you, at night time, I chill out by watching.
Read a book, smoke your pipe.
I don't read. Yeah. Only on holiday do I read a book, and I don't do that anymore because I've got a 3-year-old to chase after, so that won't happen. But I'm too busy catching up on the series as that I like to watch, but my missus doesn't. So I don't get the chance to watch them. So my best time to watch them is at night time when we go to bed. She'll watch like TikTok and that, and then go to sleep, and I'll stay up another hour and watch one of my series. I'm in Ozark at the moment. I've completed the Top Boy. I'm caught up on Peaky Blinders, so I'm on to Ozark now. So, but yeah, so I don't get to listen to them Byron on my lunch breaks, and sometimes my lunch breaks get taken over by work. So that's how all it is. But yeah, I do plan on listening to Big at the Back again,
It's
and I'd
it's
like to
it's
listen to this.
it's okay, guys. You can give him lots of stick when we do our end
Yeah,
of
of course.
season review, and
Give him
you can
plenty of
lay
stick.
into
Yeah,
him.
definitely. I love that. I'm someone who can, fight back in the sign of adversity. So it's fine. No problem. No problem. I've got KDB. So yeah.
Well, that
Um,
that that was that was our podcast review of FPL Family, and now we should move on to our game week preview, which is like I say, guys, this is every game week now
big,
until the end of the
big.
season. Are huge. They're huge all over. We've got the head to head between myself and State. You've got the mini league with about 2 or 3 people fighting for the top, and then you've got the semi-finals of the cup, which there's so much to play. But realistically, State, all people care about right now is your team. So what have you got for us?
I've got dilemmas, is what I've got for us.
That's what I want to
Dilemmas.
hear.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's trouble in paradise. I've got some players who've got double game weeks in my team, so but I'm not confident that they're going to start all games because of the tinker managers. But yeah, Edison's going to be in goal. I'm going to keep my City three of Edison, Cancelo, De Bruyne. That's not going to change. Van Dijk and Matip are going to stay in. But do I take out Salah and bring in Mane? I mean, Salah's form's not great at the moment, but I think Salah's still owned by like 57.5% of teams in the game because people are just too scared to take him out. We don't have the balls, and I'm probably one of those people who doesn't have the balls to take him out. Now, Sadio Mane's form, if you look at both Salah and Mane's form since AFCON, it's not been great. You know, Liverpool have been chipping in with goals from other parts of their team. Diaz has been yours sometimes doing it. Midfield, defence. Since game week 29, Mane's got 3 goals and 1 assist. So he's not been in great form. And since game week 29, Mo Salah has got 2 goals and 3 assists. So neither of them are consistently bagging the points that you want from people who are costing you 11, 12 million pounds, or 13.3 in Salah's case. So you're there sort of thinking, what do I do here? You're not going to not have 3 Liverpool players in at the moment, and you're not going to have 3 City players in because in the north because that you need those because they're the ones who can hold big. So I'm taking Salah out for Mane could free me up some money to do other things, which I think I may need to do to have a chat to maybe have a chance. The rest of my team, though, I mean, I've got Collins at Burnley. They've got Spurs away, Villa away, 2 away games. Do I fancy him to hold points? Probably not. So I could find him being on my bench, even though he's got 2 game weeks. Then I've got Mari Gray, 2 home games against Brentford and Palace, and Mr. Gordon as well from Everton. Those 2 are going to stay in. They're playing both. They're starting those 2 boys. They're at home, and they're danger players for them. So hopefully Everton can do some bits for me there. Madison, I'll keep him in. He played against Norwich. Now they're out of the Europe thing. Will he play the next game? I think he will. I think he'll play against Watford, and hopefully he'll get some minutes against Chelsea. It's double game week. De Bruyne will stay in. Whether he'll be captain, I don't know. Do I take a gamble on one of the double game week players? Maybe. Then Salah at the moment's in there. Up front, I've got Vardy and Pukki. Vardy will stay in. He's definitely going to play in one of the games. I think he'll play against Watford for sure. I think Leicester will be thinking that's Watford game's a game where we can get another 3 points, which will push us up in that table. The Chelsea game, they may sort of rest him and play Daka or Iheanacho. Then Pookie plays every game for Norwich, so he's not going to be dropped against Wolves away. And then that leaves me with McGovern on the bench, Collins, Gelhardt, and Williams. So, yeah, my question is, do I take Salah out for Mane, just the one transfer, which is, and then it frees me up some money for the last game week where I think I'll need that money because I'll need to put it into somebody for that last game week, and who I put that into could be decisive about whether I win the last game week and whether I win this title. So that's the conundrum is, do I keep Salah or do I transfer him out? And if I transfer him out, it's Mane that I'm bringing in, because I'm not going to transfer him out and then a striker out and get Ronaldo in, because Man United don't have a game, but Ronaldo has hit some form now, which is great, for United fans. By the Brighton game, obviously, but he's scoring a little bit more consistently than he has been doing all season. Where, well, as much as our man in the podcast is saying, "Oh yeah, Ronaldo's the best," but he's been doing it in patches. That's been my point. I wanted to see Ronaldo doing it, game after game, which I know is not always possible, but he's been getting big holes in patches, whereas the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been consistently getting a goal in there and getting bonus points, and that's actually, more beneficial. So, he gets one big haul in 5 weeks, which is means he gets 20 points in 5 weeks, or in 3 weeks, he gets 25 points. So that's more beneficial, and that's what I wanted from Ronaldo, and he's been doing that more recently. But like I said, he ain't coming in game week 37 because United are, I think, the only team who don't play in game week 37, I think, aren't they?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so yes, I've got some decisions to make, and I won't make them until Saturday or Sunday morning, because don't have to. FA Cup final takes over on Saturday, so we can see what happens there. See if Liverpool have any fresh injuries, because that might make a difference to whether I take Salah out or not. Mane gets injured, I'm not going to take Salah out probably. So there you go.
Nice,
what about
mate.
you, mate?
First of all, I think that's a really good shout, by the way, that basically we've got until, well, the deadline is actually Sunday at 10:30, which is an early kind of deadline.
Unheard of, barring the last game of the season, generally, that is.
Exactly. I've got a lot less problems in state. My team is pretty much made up for me already. So Martinez got
boring.
He's got 2 fixtures: Palace at home, Burnley at home. I'll be foolish to take him out. Luka Din has got the same fixtures, so he's going to be in. I got very lucky that he came back from injury, and he's been playing ever since. Then I've got my 3 Chelsea players. So Azpilicueta, James, Alonso, they're all playing Leicester at home, so they'll stay in. Saka, thought it was a bit of a worry that he might be injured, but he played tonight, so he should be fine. Newcastle away. I still think, even though they've lost today, I think they'll still come back, and they'll probably give Newcastle a good game. Then we've got Son and Kulusevski both playing Burnley. Obviously Keane as well, so I'll say bring him into this as well. Then my main man, Wilfried Zaha, playing Villa away and Everton away. So that's that one. I mean, although I brought him in for Watford, I knew he had a double game week coming up, so I kind of thought bring him in. And ultimately it was a good shout. Then I've got Foster, Bowen, Dennis, and Walker Peters on the bench. Oh, and sorry, Ivan Toney as well, who's got Everton away. But I'm thinking of doing Dennis to Ings. I was going to go Watkins for a straight swap because I got the money for that. But Watkins could have an injury, and there's no point in risking it, for potential injury with a double game week player.
You can wait until later to find out the team use.
True. I mean, yeah, I'm probably, had it been
75%
maybe
5% at the moment is Watkins.
Yeah, well, it could be him or Ings, but if I'll be honest with you, the way Ings is taking his chances now, I'll probably go Ings over Watkins at the moment, off the top of my head, which would mean that I'll take out Walker Peters and I'll probably bring in Anderson of Crystal Palace, just so I can get another double game weeker in there. and take a -4 probably. So that'll be it. And then I think my captain would probably be Son. Although it'd be tempting to go for like someone like Danny Ings or Wilfried Zaha or something. I don't have the balls to do that. And I know that the fact is, just by your reaction, you know that you want me to captain anyone but Son, because he's the main man right now.
Are you going to triple captain Son this week?
Not this week, no. I'm going to wait for that Norwich game, I think.
Saving it to the last game of the season.
Yeah. Or am I?
You're not bluffing anyone. We all know you're saving it to the last game of the season, because you know that no matter what, pretty much now, Spurs have got a chance last game of the season. So, Son, you're going to save it till then against the weak defence of Norwich. And yeah, that's it.
I can see there's a little tear just dropping down that
tear of happiness.
Yeah. Well, that's my team, and all I say to you, mate, is good luck. You know, I know obviously I'll probably win this game week, and you'll be pretty annoyed when we come to the next podcast. But you know, at the end of the day, mate, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's all about being deluded. You're right, mate.
On that note, I think it's probably best that we let everyone know that even as deluded as we are both on Twitter. I am FPL Southerner. State is at FPL_Northerner. And if you want to just get in contact with the podcast itself, is at FPL NVS. Now, if you reach out to us on Twitter, we will respond. We will talk to you. We'll give you advice. You can give us advice. You can give us some feedback. If you're any of these podcasts that we've been reviewing and you want to give us some shit, give it to us. Because to be fair, State now deserves it after what he's openly admitted about the fact that although he says every week that he would listen to it again, he hasn't, because he's too busy reading books and smoking his pipe after a hard day at work. But no,
pipe and slippers is good.
But no, it's honestly, guys, it's fantastic. This podcast has been going now for we did our 30th episode last week, and you know, it's been fantastic that we're still going strong. We've got 2 more game weeks to go. Yeah, it's all on the line, and I hope you join us. I hope you join us for the last 2 podcasts, because to be honest, you know, what else could you be doing? You know,
you shouldn't be doing anything else other than listening to this head-to-head.
Yeah,
even if it's just for the head-to-head results, that's all that matters.
But if you are still listening and you are enjoying it, thank you very much for listening. And I do wish you, or we wish you good luck in this game week. State,
Heath, me, and Kevin De Bruyne, we all wish you a great weekend coming up.
Nice way of finishing that. And I don't think I can offer that much more. So I'm going to say thank you and good night, guys.
Good night. KDB.